Hello everyone, welcome to the second session on Zenbuttons, buttons with a little difference, right? So we have already done one session in which we drew this Zendala, right? And you can see, although it is the same concentric circle string, but we have added some beautiful colors with gold and something in the center, right? To add that additional Zen factor. So today is the second session and I'm going to start with the same exercise, right? So my tile is on the markers and I'm going to just take the 4 points and roughly draw the line. You can do that very well with your free hand. Avoid using ruler if you can. So since we are doing an inspired art here, so I'm not being very particular about rulers and erasers. However, Zentangle does not recommend using any of these tools. Yeah, so I have started with a small circle in the center and then I'm again going to pick up my compass and add 2 layers of circles, right? So first layer, again an aura for the gold border, again one more, so approximately the same distance. Even if it is less or more, it's fine. So adding the second layer, again an aura for the gold, right? And again the third line, just the aura, right? So our groundwork is done and our compass work is also done, right? So as we did in the previous session also, first we'll draw what we want in the center, right? So I'm just going to remove my markers now and start with this orb, right? And now I'm just going to add some stems like these. One. So I have started with a tangle called Toodles. Toodles is a leaf tangle, an organic tangle, and it is a Zentangle original. Yeah. So I have first added 4 stems and now I am going to right from the beginning of the stems that I have drawn, add these fescue shapes on both sides. Right, so you can see I'm not drawing the complete toodles first. I'm just going step by step because they will be overlapping, right? I cannot be drawing complete toodles here because of the space crunch. So just draw one step at a time. And now I'm going to connect these like this, right? So come down again. So give a nice curve on one side, the S curve. Yeah, so that's toodles in the center. If you want, you can add something here, something like this. It's entirely optional. You may not do that. Yeah, so just adding some crinky lines. You can add some mocha if you wish. Right, so this is no tangle, it's just an embellishment, an enhancement, whatever you want to call it. nothing in particular. Yeah, so our center thing is ready. Now I'm just going to erase the unwanted lines because I want it absolutely white, right? So just erase with the help of a eraser the lines which are inside your drawing, right? You can retain small lines which are in between though, right? So you can retain these. Yeah, so we will come to them later. Just erase what is coming in between or inside. Because we wanted absolutely white. Yes. Yeah. So now we'll start inking our lines, right? So whatever little is available is visible in the first part, just add some ink there. That's all which is visible in the first one. Now I'll take a bolder nib, probably an 08, and ink the next two. I want them to be prominent enough even after I fill in the gold, right? So it would be good idea to use a bolder nib, or you can redo the lines 1 or 2 times using a pen. Entirely your choice. Again adding the aura. Right, the same way I'm going to do this line also. So slowly pen the pencil line because I want to fill in gold here, but as I mentioned, you may not ink these lines in case you don't want them to be discrete and you want them to go seamless, right? So a slight curls on one side of doodles is always a good idea. Yeah, so now next stage is color, right? So we'll use some greens and blues today. Let us use a cool panel today, right? So I will start with green. So take your time here and carefully add you can add a lighter green also. So just choose what you like, combination of greens and blues. Light and dark shades. Right, so take your time and use whatever is readily available with you. Watercolor pencils, absolutely fine. Watercolor panel, all good, right? So cakes, liquid watercolor, everything is fine, right? So next I'm going to add a little blue. Yeah, So now that I'm done with the colors, make sure it has dried up and it is not wet. Again, I'm going to divide this section into some square sections, kind of square, basically adding some partitions. I'm going to tangle inside. These small little sections probably can add some black here and there. Just to give an impression that there is a line there. Yeah. I think that's sufficient. Yeah. So let us now add the fragment inside, right? So what I'm going to do here is add a curved line, add some weight here, and then repeat these lines like this. Add the curved line, add some weight on it, like this, right? So it's something like gorgeous, but I'm not drawing it in the fashion we draw gorgeous. Again, curved line, add some weight, curved line, add some weight, curved line, add some weight, like this, right? Now I'm going to add the other line in the other direction. Again, curved line, add some weight, right? So go slow and slowly add curved lines and add weight to the line, or make it darker or alright and fill it up, whichever way you find it comfortable to understand. Again, curved line, some weight, again curved line, some weight, right? So we have a dark green here, so we will use the in-between spaces to add some white. Yeah, so probably we can use our jelly roll also on this panel. So just slowly add these lines, add aura. The flow is important, rest is just adding some weight. The flow of lines is important. Yeah, so give a slight nice curve, add some weight, and then repeat it. Right? So I'm continuing in the same fashion, still adding those curvy lines with auras. Flowy lines. With a slight weight. Yeah, just keep changing the direction. Yeah, again. So the last two. Just like gorgeous, however gorgeous, we draw in a slightly different fashion. Right? And the last one. It's almost finishing there. Lines with an aura, and ink it or make the lines bold. Yeah, so done with that exercise. The next, let us add some orbs in the outer one. So I'm just going to add some orbs. So here the center tangle is called toodles. We have already learned how to draw this tangle in my previous videos. This is a Zentangle original released by Zentangle headquarters, and this is fragment T3. Right? This is again the reference number of the fragment from the Zentangle Primer Volume 1. Right? So I have drawn it very slowly, so I hope you can understand, you have understood how to draw it. So if you have the book, you can refer it from there also. Yeah. So continuing with the orbs. So just going to draw these orbs and then insert a fragment or probably two of them inside the orbs. Yeah. So I am done drawing the orbs. Now I am going to draw Vitruvius in one of them. This is a tangle called Vitruvius. It is a Zentangle original. So what I am doing is added a square, then again a circle, then again a square. Just keep changing the direction of the square so that the corners don't coincide. Right? And the second one that I am going to add is called eek, arranged in a circle like this. Right? Simple. So this fragment, as a fragment, if you are using eek, it is fragment D22. Right? This is eek as circle, fragment D22, and this is tangle Vitruvius, which is a Zentangle original. Right? So this is Vitruvius and this is fragment D22. So continuing alternatively with these two tangles, again you can see I have drawn a square, again a circle, again a square, again a circle, again a square, again a circle, square, circle, square. Right? So I'm going to continue like this. Eek is very simple, cursive E. That's the tangle. Yeah? So you can choose any other tangle of your choice. There are so many tangles to choose from. Please feel free. Yeah, so I have finished drawing my fragments inside each of the circles, right? So now it will be a good idea to just fill in these small little spaces where you have drawn eek, tiny spaces left, right? So just fill it up, ink it. It will add to the look of the pattern. Small spaces, but small little inkings, intersectices, spaces between tangles should be inked, what we also call as negative spaces. Right? So I'll quickly do that exercise. You can do that along with me. Just fill in the small spaces left in your eek. So once we are done with that exercise, time to embellish. So pick up your jelly roll. Probably a finer dip would be better idea. Jelly roll 08. This is white, right? So I'm going to first touch white inside my eek. I think you can do that inside your Vitruvius also. Right? And then I'm going to add orbs here, or you can add a printum with your white jelly roll. Right? So I'm adding a small little printum here. Make sure you don't put your hand on wet jelly roll. It will smudge. Small little printum, curl, right? And you can do the same exercise below also. Delicate, use a fine nib. You can also use 05. Yeah, and some lines in between here, not too many, just to highlight the veins, right? So I'm not going to add too many, but I'm going to add a few in between. I want the greens also to show, right? So just adding a touch. So take your time and carefully add touches of white. You can do that with your chalk also if you wish. I think that's enough. You can also add dots if you want. Even that will look nice. Yeah, so experiment, explore. You can always add dots in between few, right? So let us now move on to shading first, and then we'll see if we want to add something else, right? So I'm first going to add graphite. So just make sure the jelly roll has dried up. So as I mentioned earlier also, generally this is the place to add graphite as far as Zenbuttons is concerned. You divide the concentric circles using shade, right? And if you don't have this piping or aura where you want to put in the gold, you can do without adding ink to the string also, right? You need not ink the concentric circles. As you shade it, they will stand out on their own, right? So I want a gold pipe, so that's why I have added an aura and I have inked it. Again, keep your brush pen, or even if you have your gray watercolor, you can use that. Because we are going to re-emphasize this dark with our brush pen. It adds depth to our concentric circles. The center starts to pop up and the corners or the edges recede. So if you want that effect, it's a good idea to redo your graphite shading with gray watercolor. Yeah, just adding some at the edges. Here also. Not too much. We want the center white, right? And for the doodles, just a slight shade on this line. And under the curl should suffice. We want it white, right? So we don't want it go gray. So we keep shading to the minimum, right? So let us blend first and then we shall see. Slight blending at these points from where lines are emerging. Yeah. Now blend the edges. So we already have lot of ink here, so graphite would actually reflect on the inked sections, and that's why it is all the more important to do with a brush pen. To make it look dark. Yeah. And this section Just carefully blend the graphite around your center toodles. Yeah, and then the next right, so similarly blend the top section also. Now moving on to our gray brush pen, just going to touch the inside, make it a little more darker, mostly over the graphite and not spreading it too much, right? So I'm just using the ends, the tip, and adding a layer of gray like this. Same thing here, adding a little darkness at the ends, using mostly the tip, not spreading it too much. Redoing the graphite part to re-emphasize the dark so that my center pops up like a ring. Yeah, and do the same here also. So take your time and slowly do that exercise. Yeah, we are done, right? So now is the time for gold. Use your jelly roll gold, or you can use your uniball and add the gold to this aura that you gave to the concentric circles. Right, so take your time and add the gold touch to here and the outer aura, right? So almost finishing my gold aura. Yeah, and you can always give a touch of gold in the center also. Yeah, so now last but not the least, going to use my chalk pencil to add. You can either add it individually or as we generally do in case of Zen buttons, just add, just make sure your gold has dried up. Yeah, just add a circle in between. To give the effect of a shine or a shimmer or luster. Yeah, and the same exercise you can do here also. Few places we have missed the dot inside our Vitruvius. Yeah. So I'm pressing my chalk pretty hard because it is on color and it should show, right? So I'm pressing it hard. I'm going to redo it once more. Yeah. So now just use another Totolon and soften the chalk, remove the excess, blend it with the rest. And same for the above. Soften it, brush off the excess. Yeah, and I think we are done, right? So this is our tile for today. I think some amount of white is visible at the edges. I'm just going to add some gold there. Yeah, that's about it. So that's our Zen button for today, right? So I'm just going to initial it. Place your chop somewhere. Yeah, and then sign and date it. Right? So take a moment to appreciate your tile, and I'll see you again with another new Zen button idea. Till then, have a good time, stay safe, bye bye.